Call Center is a cutting-edge provider of business process outsourcing services, BPO, for both onshore and offshore solutions for inbound, outbound, email chat, and back office services. This is a major story here in the newspaper, a major PR story. The Atlantic City Call Center has recently launched a new 200-seat facility at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City. It was approved to receive nearly $33 million in tax credits from the state of New Jersey. This is New Jersey 2.0, and we're going to be speaking Fred Chatting, the Senior Vice President of Business Development of Atlantic City Call Center.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Everybody hear me? Yeah, this is kind of 2.0, not only for Atlantic City, but 2.0 for our organization as well. I'd like to give you just a little bit of history. We've been in the outsourced contact center industry for over 15 years. We actually launched one of the first 3 call centers in the Philippines back in 1999. And we grew that business from one small 200-seat call center to over 5,500 employees in 4 countries, and then we ultimately sold that organization in 2012. We decided we were crazy enough to do it again, but what we wanted to do was look at how we were able to grow and develop a market in the Philippines to where it is now. Over 900,000 people in the Philippines work in a contact center, to look at how we can leverage those resources back here in the United States. So we were combing, and when you think about contact center outsourcing in the US, there are over, if you don't know the number, I'm going to give you the number. It's about 5,000 contact center providers in the United States, meaning that there is an organization somewhere that delivers a service where people come to work every day with the headset on, deliberately involved in their computer, doing email, social media monitoring as a service to a customer. Less than 5% of those are located in the Northeast, okay? So when you look at that from the standpoint of where is the opportunity, and why isn't the opportunity here? A lot of people say cost, the weather, whatever it might be, but there's a lot of skilled talent we feel in the Northeast. And when we looked at some of the depressed areas, particularly, Camden, New Jersey, and some other areas where incentives were being brought, and we looked at those resources. In the contact center industry, customers, when they come to us, they want to know about your location, your people, and your cost. Okay, and when we looked at Atlantic City, cost was definitely going to be a factor, but as we were able to achieve a number of incentives, I'm just kind of giving you a story here, a number of incentives in the state of New Jersey, we were able to reduce our costs to a degree where we can compete domestically with some of the largest contact center environments in the country, such as Texas, Utah, Florida, etc. And then ultimately, from a resource perspective, you're looking at individuals that have worked in Caesars, that have worked in the Trump for 20 years in their contact centers, that are now displaced, that we can now leverage in this environment at a cost and a price to them that is more than what they were being paid, in the casinos. So we're very excited about this particular opportunity. We launched the company in the summer, and we opened our contact centers just about 6 weeks ago, actually. And because we've been in the industry for so long, we already have a contact center in the Philippines. We have started our organization with revenue. We've had a number of discussions just today with one of the largest telehealth organizations, with one of the largest fitness organizations. So we're looking at quite a bit of a run rate to get things moving. This is just a little bit about us. We're in Clark at the Philippines. We have a center in Atlantic City as well. In terms of our tax credit with the state of New Jersey, we received $33 million and other incentives. One of the first, if not the first, I believe, in Atlantic City to receive the state credits. And when we looked at this was really the factor for us that took us in, because it allows us to be credited for those employees that we're able to, if you will, rescue from the displaced market of casino workers and use their skills to put to work for some really great companies that we work with, and just multiply the different types of resources that we have to be successful. This is just a little bit about our team. Ultimately, with the contact center, we provide email support, chat support, phone support to a variety of different companies. Talked a little bit about the control. I want to kind of just highlight some of our skills. Since we've been with our latest organization, the Holly Gold Group and the ownership group of the Atlantic City Contact Center, we've been very successful rolling up into a number of different companies. In our prior company, we were the largest vendor for 800 Flowers. We were one of the largest vendors for Washington Mutual. We were one of the largest vendors for Viacom and all of their different television brands. We supported their e-commerce. But when we look at Atlantic City, we think there's a lot of play in terms of what we can deliver and what we can do. I think the press economy of Atlantic City really helps us out to be not necessarily a domestic, if you will, offshore, but definitely a very cost strategic play for many of the clients that we've traditionally pursued to go offshore and in nearshore environments. We're affiliated with a number of different associations. I won't kind of bore you with our training. But what our focus has been is when you look at our organization, 70% of the ownership is with the Holly Gold Group, which also owns 100% of the Netcast BPO brand, which is also our Philippines organization. And Warren, if you want to just maybe comment on Warren Golden is our founder and chairman as well. If you want to just comment on a couple of the financial projections, that would be helpful. Sure.
Good evening, everybody. I want to make this longer than we need to, but I thought it would be a good idea to at least tell you about the numbers. Because of our ability to get these credits in New Jersey, and $33 million over 10 years being a very substantial amount of money, there are three things that happen. The first thing is that our customers are able to get a discount on their services, because how are you going to rope them into a new organization except by price and level of service? So we're able to do that. Secondly, we can attract the best of those employees that have been scuttled, if you will, from the existing industries in Atlantic City and pay them a little bit more than they were paid before. And finally, we get to have a very substantial P&L and balance sheet as a result of it. So everybody wins. It's a win-win. So if you look at the statements of income, the first year of 2016, the first full year, is projected at almost $14 million worth of sales, and with an EBITDA of $8.2 million, which is just substantial and incredible. And the reason that is the case is we not only have these state credits, but there are also local, city, and county incentives, paid incentives, to give us money for on-the-job training. So the first year is affected by about $2.5 million worth of those contributions as well. And then we go into the second year to, the hope is 2 call centers. We're going to build on the one that we have, and we're going to open a new one. And the new one would pretty much double the volume, and in the third year, the volume gets tripled. And each one of these units that we buy is subject to a separate by location application to the state and a new set of credits. So all of that inures to the bottom line, and everybody is really happy with that, but we're not getting it from the customers, and we're not taking it from the employees by giving them the lowest possible wage. We're giving them between $12 and $13 an hour, which is probably $2 to $3 an hour more than they earn in the casinos. And we're also giving them medical insurance and other benefits in the company. So everybody is happy. Obviously, that results in that results in a balance sheet that is pretty substantial. The biggest problem that we have, frankly, is getting over the initial hurdle. Okay, we've been awarded these wonderful credits. We haven't received $1. We won't receive $1 until we've proved to the government that we have employed 332 people for an average period of time. And that's when we'll get the credit. That's when it'll be tradable. So all of the investment in building the business, in teaching the people, in creating the infrastructure to do this has been on us. And that's the reason that we're out in the market, basically, to attract investors at this point. Okay, getting down to the end of this, we're trying to raise a minimum of $1.5 million and a maximum of 4.5. These could be from one person, it could be from two, it could be from three. But the uses of capital are essentially the same. It's just a matter of how much we put into it as to whether we raise the minimum, the mid-range amount, or the maximum. That's pretty much our story.
Thanks very much, Fred. Thank you, Warren. Why don't we put questions straight out of the audience? Anybody have any questions here?
Either did a good job or a bad job, if there are no questions.
So yeah.
Is this all inbound telemarketing or
No,
outbound telemarketing?
it's about 80% inbound, and there's a small 20% outbound. And we accept only those outbound programs that we think are quality programs. We're not in there to sell gadgets and widgets and so on. But we work for medical companies, for instance, Medical Alert, okay? And we do outbound calling for that kind of company. So yes, it's 80% inbound and 20% outbound. And by the way, that's just on the call side. We also do email, chat, data processing, and so on. And that makes up about 10% of our business to begin with. So the 80-20 I'm talking about is on the 90% residual.
I'll ask you a question. I'm trying to understand a little bit more about the commercial business.
Yes.
When you're attracting customers, right? You're attracting corporate clients to have you route their calls. I mean, tell us about, who is there the competitive landscape? Who are your competitors, and how does the volume come into the center?
We have any number of competitors. As Fred aptly said earlier, there are 5,000 contact centers in the country, so we don't lack for competitors. But what we offer is a specialized level of service where we assign an account executive to each one of the accounts. We have our own telco switching equipment in Los Angeles, so we take the calls in there from the client. We then route the calls with our own proprietary CRM systems to either Atlantic City or to the Philippines or to a client's own center if they so desire. So we do that in a CRM system that allows us to record every call, to have quality control on every call, and to give feedback to the client where there's a difficulty that we need their cooperation with. As far as attracting clients is concerned, we have a lot of relationships from our past years. And those relationships bring us, as Fred said before, into financial services. It brings us to computer manufacturing, brings us to big box retailers, catalog companies, and even the direct response TV. We've been representing infomercials for many, many years. Some good, some not so good, but we always got paid from our clients.
Just let's talk a little bit about USA, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of call centers that are overseas.
Yes.
There's a cost. But there's a benefit to some clients, right? From you being in the USA. Maybe just touch base on that.
Sure, absolutely. Many people don't know this, but the contact center business has built and added people every year since the advent of offshore call centers. So the need for the service has grown. Now, where do you put the service? Do you leave it here in the United States, or do you bring it offshore? Well, that depends on, one, any regulations or rules that you're required to abide by. Some people can't, for instance, send business out of the state. Some government agencies do call center work, but they can't have it out of the country. So there's a definite need for the growth of the contact center business onshore. But the offshore element is very simple. Our rates are roughly $24 an hour here in New Jersey. The rates in the Philippines are $12 an hour. And many people might say you get what you pay for, but I have to tell you, we have some fabulous agents in the Philippines that will do performance heads over a number of agents here in the United States. So it's a question of economy. It's a question of what you want and what you're willing to pay for.
Warren, Fred, thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.